Hello, everybody. Dr. Rick Wallace here, dropping in on you. I hope that you have gotten your week off to a good start. I hope that you closed out a good week on the previous week. Whether you feel you had a great week or not, you still have today to make an imprint. You still have today to make the necessary changes. You still have today to right the ship. As long as you're breathing, you're still in the game. And that's something that you really need to understand and remember is that there are going to be some times you get pushed one way or the other. The importance, the important thing to remember is that you are living a life that has purpose. And in this life that has purpose, you operate on a continuum. There isn't a certain event, there isn't a certain point that you reach and say, okay, I won life. Life is a continuum. The point in life is to progress, it's to move forward, it's to be better today than you were yesterday. It is to gain knowledge, experience, understanding, wisdom, all of these things that enhance your ability to make this imprint on this world and on this life that you were designed to make. And everything else that is encompassed in what we call the totality of human existence is all there for you to be able to do this one thing, and that's to advance yourself in a way and at a level that allows you to make an imprint. You have purpose in your life, no matter what your background, no matter what you've been through, no matter how many times you believe you failed in the past. There is something inside of you that is so valuable, not only to yourself, but to the world. And it is going to be the thing that if you access it, you become passionate about it, you become committed to it, that will not only set the state of the way that you're able to live your life, but it will be the imprint of your legacy that you leave behind that tells the world who you were long after you're gone. We get caught up in the medium or the mode more than we do in the actual purpose or the actual idea of what we are. And so that's something you need to think about. And that's kind of what I'm going to talk about, uh, what I'm going to talk to you about today. Before I get started, uh, we don't forget, we're still in the middle of, oh man, now that I think about it, we are less than a month away from the release of my 21st book, I Am. I Am is a book that undresses the precursor to the most powerful declarations that you will ever make. Anything that follows the word I am sets the course and the path of your life in that particular area. When you speak of your ability to impact the world in whatever way, it whatever follows I am sets the course of your action. If you speak in a negative way about yourself, you set the course of action down a negative path. And the vice and it goes vice versa. If you speak positive, it is a reflection of an internal belief. And that internal belief gives you that to speak, but the speaking of it also influences the belief. So you're literally reinforcing your thinking. And so if you want to change your thinking, if you want to change a set of beliefs that are working against you, one of the best ways to start is what you speak. And so I Am is this book, which is the second book in a 6-book series. The first book was Critical Mass. I'm very excited about what the book has done to this point, but I'm equally excited about what's coming. So if you haven't pre-ordered the book, pre-order the book. Not only will you get the book at a discounted price during the pre-order promo, but every person who pre-orders the book gets a one-on-one sit-down session, either virtual session on the phone or a video conference session with yours truly. These breakthrough sessions are extremely powerful. We're able to identify at least one thing that if you start to focus on that and work on that, you can literally change the course of your life. It's that simple. I didn't say it was easy. I said it's that simple. There's one that for everybody, that's this one thing. If you just sit back and focus on it and you make it a point that you will not fail in that one area, it will cascade and it will be the foundation on which you build everything else. And we can identify that. We can get you started. We can find out why you're procrastinating, why you have all these great ideas, but you never put any action behind it. We can do all of those things. So if you haven't pre-ordered the book, go ahead and get that. Now, let's talk. It's Money Monday. And money is always a subject. If you want to get a lot of attention, post something about money that people can relate to, and they'll draft to it, because we live in a culture in which money is considered the end all be all. It is treated erroneously as an end versus a means. Money is simply a means of achieving something. And based on what you desire and how you associate that desire with value and how you associate that value with money is going to determine how you view money, how you approach money, how much money you think you need, and so much more. When you start to see money as a means, it's simply one resource, one form of capital. And I try to tell people this all the time, that money is necessary. Currency is necessary because it's so accepted. It's one of the most universal forms of currency or capital that you can have, that you can set up and you can literally use to get almost anything you want. It's money. And that's why it's so hard for people to believe that the most valuable things in life can't be bought with money, because we negotiate with money so much and people compromise so much for money that money has become the end instead of being what it was designed to be, in the means. And when you understand that money is simply a means, and that there are multiple means or multiple forms of capital and resources out there that transcend money or currency, then you are able to move about and do things in life that you feel you can't do now. Let me explain something to you. I'm going to talk about how to get one way that every last person can set themselves up to get more quote unquote money. But I want you to understand something. One of the most dangerous realities is attempting to operate in a capitalist culture or in this world, period, and not have an understanding of life. See, if you don't have an understanding of life, the whole idea of money will destroy you. And it doesn't matter on what end of the spectrum you exist. If you don't understand life, money will destroy you. Either the lack of it or the abundance of it will destroy you if you don't understand. I'll give you a prime example. People who have never had money in any true level of abundance where you would consider them rich or wealthy are always thinking that if I had all this, all of my problems would be solved and life would be great. Well, that's a story not too long ago of a man in Russia who I think was worth $17 billion and at the time was the wealthiest man in Russia. But he was a gambler, not in the traditional sense, but he took risks that were unnecessary with his investments. And one time it cost him, I want to say, $8 billion. So just like that, he went from being the richest man in Russia to just being another billionaire. And the crazy thing is, he couldn't help it because his entire identity was centered on being the wealthiest man in Russia. And the moment that that was taken away, he didn't know who he was. He spiraled down into depression and killed himself. He was worth, I think, $9 billion when he killed himself. And so he didn't understand life. See, what you have with money is the ability to be impactful. And when you're impactful in the light of your design, in the light of your purpose, in the light of your assignment here on earth, then what you see is money is simply a mechanism that puts me in a better position to be more impactful. Yes, it allows me to live a certain lifestyle. Yes, it allows me to do things that maybe other people can't do. But that's secondary. That cannot be the end, because then that doesn't come with fulfillment. I take it from me. You can be able to travel where you want to, drive what you want to, live where you want to, and be miserable and literally at the point of total darkness and depression. It happens more than you think. And here's why it happens. See, if I am poor, monetarily speaking, asset speaking, I don't have a lot of assets. I don't have a lot of resources. I don't have a lot of money. I don't have anything that gives me an excessive net worth. You know, I'm worried about light bills getting paid. I'm worried about stuff, you know, on that level. Then it's easy for me to sit up and fathom that if I had all of the money, to take care of all of these problems that I'm dealing with, then life is just going to be awesome. Life is going to be grand. Life is going to be great. This is what I strive for. All of a sudden, the door opens to go out and make more money. You strive, you work, you train, you read, you connect, you network, you do what it is. You move out of one tax bracket into the next, out of that tax bracket into the next. And you start to see yourself climb. You start to see yourself accumulate these things you always said you wanted. The last time you thought about a light bill, you can't even remember because it's automatically taken care of now. You're moving up in this and you're starting to get all these things and you're accumulating. The closet is filling up, the driveway is full, the house is expansive, and everybody's patting you on the back and celebrating all of your success. And yet there's this emptiness on the inside. And you can't explain it because you can't buy enough to fill it. You can't make enough to fill it. And you're trying to figure out what's wrong. You're not operating in your purpose. You have misplaced the meaning of money and made money the end. And now it can't function in the way that it was designed. And you can't get where you're going because you're focused on the money. The money is simply a means. When you truly understand your purpose, now you are moving into something. Every day your purpose is there, whether you've got $1 million in the bank or 5 cents, it's still there. And even if all you have is 5 cents, you can still be impactful in your purpose because your purpose is designed in a way that no matter what you have in the way of resources, there's something you can do in your assignment that gives you a feeling of fulfillment that keeps you at a place where you're lifted. But when you're focused solely on money and you can't really do anything but have money and the things that money can afford, and you find out, wait a minute, something's missing. It was in my life when I'm sitting up at the peak of financial success, totally miserable, up every morning, 3 o'clock, fidgety, anxious, can't understand it. I mean, and so I figure, okay, I got to get more set. I got to get more set. I got to be more set. And I'm like, I'm just going. And I'm waking up in the morning and I got everybody telling me, man, I wish. And inside I'm smiling and dapping, but on the inside I'm going, this emptiness is literally sucking the life out of me. What is it? And what I realized was I was working on my desires and not my purpose. I had got lost in this idea of the American dream and that it's to have stuff. But the stuff can't transcend your transition. And what I mean by that, if what you're striving for can't transcend your transition, meaning out of this world and into the next, it's meaningless. Yes, it's nothing wrong with enjoying life, but that's got to be secondary. First and foremost is fulfillment of one's assignment, fulfillment of one's purpose, fulfillment of one's destiny. That's where you get this feeling that there's nothing more scary than to look into the eyes of a person that knows they're leaving this place. And I've done it many times. I've been in the room with many people who were transitioning. And there are several groups. The person who went out and lived life to the fullest. And I'm not just talking about getting things. I'm talking about how they impacted other people, how they inspired other people, how they lifted other people. And when you look into their eyes, there's no fear, there's no worry, there's no regret. It's none of that. They're sitting up and they're going, yeah, I did it. I'm good. And they're transitioning in peace. Then there's the ones that's just gone out and everything is confused and muffled, and life never had meaning for them. And they transition scared because they don't know what's going to be on the other side of this transition. Then there's the person who has an understanding of life now, but they got it too late. And there was so much that they could have done that would have made the world a better place, but they missed the boat and they got caught up in things, and they were safe. They didn't take chances. They didn't go out and do things that would turn people's lives around. They played it safe, and now they're sitting up there, and the worst look out of fear and in peace and all of that is regret. if anybody's dealt with people who are, passing away, whether from a terminal disease or some deteriorative disease in old age, or just, they're on their deathbed and they know it. You know the ones who are at peace, and you see the little terror of the person with regret. They were given a life and they did nothing with it. And see, you don't have to have $1 million to do something with the gift. That's the beautiful thing. I tell people all the time, your greatest asset isn't what's in your bank account or your driveway or your safe. Your greatest asset is the understanding of your purpose and this unlimited mind that you have to come up with ideas and solutions and the ability to change lives. And that's where you build your value. When you build your value set on your purpose, money becomes a secondary, automatic, inevitable thing. It's when you determine who you are and how you are going to serve the world in a way that makes the world better than when you found it. You have a value now. And when you understand that by increasing the value, by increasing the capacity to reach other people, to help other people, to change the lives of other people, you automatically increase your capacity to earn. It's an automatic thing. You've got to focus on the purpose. And see, when you focus on the purpose, and then you get these little upsets, disheavals, or things that happen in your life. Like I took a major financial hit. I got knocked flat on my back, as flat on your back as you can get, from where I was standing when all of it started to where I ended up, flat on my back. But the one thing I had by the time I landed on my back was a clear understanding of who I was, why I was here, and what I was capable of. I had no bitterness. I wasn't angry. All I knew is I'm on my way back up. Now, what a lot of people won't tell you is what I'm going to share with you now. I want you to really pay attention, because see, you focus too much on the money and you're missing the greatest asset, your genius, your gift. Your gift is worth far more than any amount of money that you can accumulate on this planet if you had it all. But you're caught up in something that will come automatically. Let me tell you something. What a lot of people won't tell you is because we live in a world where it's only good to talk about how awesome you are. People get the idea that the people who are successful never go through frustrations, never go through suffering, never go through setbacks, never have failures. The truth of the matter is, if we're only speaking in the realm of financial abundance, the average millionaire will have gone broke by legal standards at least 3 times over the course of their life. That's the reality of it. Things come, things go, things come up, things go down. That's life. You don't get through life without going through a storm. The greatest lesson my grandfather, who was my great-grandfather, who was my adoptive father, ever taught me was, son, you're going to be in 1 of 3 places in this world throughout your entire life. It's real simple. You're either going to be going into a storm, in a storm, or coming out of a storm. You don't circumvent the storm, son. You use the storm to refine you. Use the storm to strengthen you. Use the storm to elevate you. That's when you see eagles climb, is when they fly into the torrid winds that are coming against them. You need the storm, son. And that's what we don't get. We'll study running from trouble thinking we can rise. But I'm trying to tell you something. I failed a bunch of times. But see, what I learned in my failure is that failure is not final until you quit. Everybody fails. I mean, I didn't just walk out and say, okay, I'm rebuilding, go out and start a company, and in a month it's worth this or worth that. I said, okay, I'm going to leverage the internet to expedite the growth of the companies I create. Great idea, but at the time I did it, it wasn't as set up, and there wasn't all these people telling you exactly what to do, that you can. It was all of these sites with these one-click win things, and you got to read and research it, and they're asking for $297 all the way down to $27. And if you get this program, you just do this, set it up, and it's going to be automatic. Like, I don't even sound right, because there's just certain things in business that are principles, and it's based off laws, and there is no easy win. There is no get rich quick scheme. Now, there are these moments and vacuums in time when a person makes the right decision at the right time with the right force, and it happens quickly. We saw that with a lot of moves in the Depression where people became millionaires. You saw it with .com before the .com bubble bust. There are times when you can get out ahead of something so great that what you put into it grows so exponentially fast that you can look up and it looks like it's overnight. But even that didn't happen overnight. How many times did you fail before you made that right choice? I can tell you, I bumped my head. I learned, I had to go out and figure out, okay, I figured, okay, what do I have now where I can empower people, inspire people, and it's a skill set that brings value that I can earn with. And that's how I went into it. I said, okay, Rick, you've been writing all your life. So while you're working on getting your books done and all that, just start writing. So I wrote for everybody. People pay. I remember the first assignment I got, I think they paid me $2 and some $3. It was under $5. And so I'm thinking, okay, if I'm going to earn this amount of money a day in order to advance myself, this is how many articles like this I got to write. I mean, it was daunting. But I said, if that's how many I got to write, where's the 5-hour energy? And it started out that way. Now I hardly write as a freelance writer anymore. But when I write as a freelance writer, my average pay for a freelance writer where I'm writing articles for somebody else's business or somebody else's website or whatever, or, you know, for whatever, is normally somewhere around $200 per 1,000-word article, which I can write in about 30 minutes. I don't do it a lot because there are things I can be doing where I can actually make more than that. You know, my average session with a client is $350, and that's a little less than an hour most of the time. And so I'll write because I love writing, or if they come to me with something I want to write about. But think about where I started and how many times I missed goals because I just didn't have the time to do the volume for the goal. You know, there's a long way from $2 and $3 and something for an article to all the way to $200 and something for an article. And it didn't happen overnight, but I honed my skills. I increased my exposure over the internet to where people were coming to me at a rate right now that I cannot entertain it. If that's all I had to do, I still couldn't entertain it. But I had to start somewhere. I had to see the gift in me. I had to see how that gift would serve other people outside of just making me money. And I can't tell you how many people have written me and thanked me for what I wrote on an article that I wrote for someone else. I have clients that literally take my articles, and when they purchase them, they purchase the right to put their name on it. But I got other clients that said that they've gotten so much feedback that they actually want to give me my byline on the article. So when they post my work, it literally has my name on it. And people contact me off of that, telling me how that helped them. Now, that happens more often than you think. But again, I'm talking about one element of what I do. And it started with me simply doing that. But I'm telling you, I got the crap beat out of me. I got the crap knocked out of me. It's so many days. All I had, when I hit rock bottom, I've told this story so many times before. I'm going to tell it again. Look, when I hit rock bottom, I didn't go around whining and crying. I made a great covenant with the divine power of the universe, God, whatever you want to call him. I'm not here to tell you what to call, but to me, I made a real simple covenant. And the covenant was, I don't expect to be brought out of this. You've taught me long enough and through lessons that it's more important for me to get through it than it is to jump out of it. So I know I've got to go through this for whatever it's going to teach me, for whatever it's going to build. My covenant or my agreement with God was simple. Don't let me die in this. If you wake me up, I'll answer the bell. Don't let me die in this. Let me live long enough to show people you can come out of it. I said, if you wake me up, I'll answer the bell. It's a bunch of mornings I woke up. There were mornings I woke up and snow was on top of me. The thing I feared the most, I had to face. People don't want to talk to you about that. But the things I feared the most are the very things I had to face before I could come out of it. Let me reframe that for you. Not only the morning that I woke up with snow on me was Christmas. and Christmas the next day after Christmas. And you're thinking about snow. Think about the dangers of being in that type of element. And I'm just one of thousands. But I had a covenant that I trusted. You're not going to let me die in this. And if you wake me up, I'm going to answer the bell. I woke up. This is what I did. I kept an executive membership at the time at 24 Hour Fitness. Those close to me have heard this story. It wasn't that I couldn't have a place. It was that I couldn't have a place and do what I needed to do in business and impact in the community at the same time in advance. I could have a place and I could struggle and get through that place, and it'll take me 4, 5, 6 years to do anything. Or I could take this blow right now to my ego, to my pride, and I could go through this, get and take the money I'm making and put it into something. So I kept an executive membership at 24 Hour Fitness downtown in Dallas. The 24 Hour Fitness downtown has 2 locker rooms. One locker room is the regular locker room. You have to take your stuff when you leave every day. The executive locker room is you can leave your stuff in there all day. That's your locker. You have the right to that locker, and you pay a little extra a month for it, but it's your locker. I woke up every morning from where I was sleeping, walked to the gym, showered, worked out, changed clothes, and went and sat down at Starbucks, and I wrote. I wrote my way out of that situation into my first living dwelling of my own after the fall, until I worked and worked and worked. It wasn't an overnight experience. It was, if I'm breathing, I'm still in the fight. If I'm breathing, I'm not dead yet. I still got hope. It wasn't in anything that was going on around me except I'm not quitting. I'm going to get it or I'll die fighting for it. But those are the only options. I don't care. This is what I'm going to leave you with. Because when I think about that, I don't have any bad feelings. I'm grateful. And I'm grateful because no matter what your faith is or how you view God, the divine intelligence of the universe, how you view God, this is the one thing that I can tell you from experience. God honors covenants. One of the safest places to be is in covenant with the Creator, in which you are honoring your side, knowing for sure that God will honor his side. And then you just go to work. I didn't never at one time sit up and go, I might die if I fall asleep tonight. I went to bed anticipating how much progress I was going to make the next day when I woke up. All you need to earn money is to find a market that is in need of what your gift can produce. And the Creator imprinted, embedded in you, no matter who you are, a gift, a talent, a certain genius about you. I've worked with professionally children with autism, children who have been declared mentally retarded. I've worked with people from impoverished backgrounds. I've worked with people who were experienced massive traumatic experiences, from childhood sexual abuse to the death of parents, car accidents, everybody. And what I can tell you is, no matter where you come from, no matter what you've been through, no matter how life started for you, you've got a genius on the inside of you. It's a gift. Now, we live in a world that doesn't celebrate most genius. We live in a world that celebrates people who can move in a standardized way to a standardized expectation of the masses, so that it can be plugged into a standardized machine. But see, that's not where your value is. Your value is in the uniqueness of your gift. See, the vast majority of us have been trained to look for what looks like us. The vast majority of us have been trained to judge others by how much we are alike, but that's not where your value is at. Your value is in the uniqueness of who you are, because that's what separates you from everybody else. And when you learn how to engage your uniqueness and then bring that uniqueness to the surface and then serve people with that uniqueness, there's only one place they can get what you provide. Find a problem that you know, based on who you are, you have the ability to solve. Everybody that's dealing with that problem is now your targeted market. You come up with a solution. How are you going to deliver the solution? How? Second of all, do it at the highest level possible. Quality matters. Quality has to be a part of your personal brand. You're going to solve the problem in a quality way, and then you're going to introduce your uniqueness. The third thing, be so unique in what you do that it's almost impossible to replace you. The reason most businesses that provide a solution fail is that they're so generic in the way they solve the problem that it can be copied, and then they'll run out of business with their own idea. When you deliver something in such a unique way, and you're able to deliver a graduating experience. In other words, there's this ladder in which somebody comes in on this level and they get what you have to offer. But as soon as they get that, they say, man, it's something else. And they learn if they just hang with you, you're going to get them places that they can't get by themselves. And whatever it is, it may be in fitness, it may be in performance, it may be in relationships, it may be in conceptualization of business ideas. Whatever it is, you bring it in a unique way, because the uniqueness is what ensures you can't be duplicated. It's in what ensures that people want it, they got to come to you. And guess what happens if you're the only place that something that is in high demand can be gotten? You write the check, you put the amount on it, and they will sign it. With that being said, look, I'm going to get out of here. I absolutely appreciate you guys for stopping by. If you haven't ordered I Am yet, you need to really order that, because self-talk is the software and the operating system that our supercomputer brains will run. Whatever you're saying about yourself is programming your brain and your mind to behave a certain way. And we go in great depths in this book, so I'm excited about it. Pre-order it. Also, you not only get it at a discounted price, but you also get a 30-minute breakthrough session with yours truly. With that being said, let me get off of here. I've got a lot to do today, but definitely, if you have to watch this video a couple of more times, do it. Share with other people. Talk about it. Break it down and ask yourself, does it apply to me? And if it does, how? With that being said, I'm out of here. You guys have an unbelievable